CTO cruising the Okanagan. I'm Anna Marie.
I'm Ed.
Today, Ed and I are going to take you along with us as we go check out Lakeview Rod Custom. So buckle up, you're in for a treat, and you're on the road with CTO.
My name is Preston. I'm a Red Seal welder. I've been welding for about 20 years now. We started Lakeview Rod Custom about 4 years ago in Blind Bay. Since then we've moved into town, so we're right in Salmon Arm now. We've been there for the last 2 years doing this full time.
Hi, I'm Tobin. I've been in the industry building hot rods and customs for about a decade now, and I just moved up from Langley about 6 months ago to partner with Preston and kind of bring more of the paint and body side of things to the team.
I'm here with Preston and Tobin with Lakeview Rod Custom. You guys have recently changed your name because you guys have melded together. Is that correct?
Yeah, originally we started the company, it was Lakeview Fabrication. That's what we were focusing on, was the metalwork side of things. As we started getting busier with the car builds, we wanted to really pick a name that represented that, and then when Tobin came and joined up with us and brought the paint and body side to all of this, I really wanted to make sure that people realized what we were able to do here.
Well, you're covering all aspects. Mechanic, wiring, that's a big one. Also, the customization of these vehicles. And what I'm really seeing here is kind of a meld between old school and new tech.
We bring together some really awesome aspects. I've got the computer side, the CNC side, the 3D printing side, which we've been using for metal shaping, and Tobin's got that old school flair, which has been a really good combination.
As far as your paint goes, I'm noticing on this one there's some gold leaf. Do you do gold leaf as well?
Yeah, I'm really big into the custom painting, so I do a lot of candies, gold leafing, hand-turned leaf, pinstriping, all of that side of things. Again, it just brings the creative aspect into a seemingly boring thing, you know? If you have a car or bike parts and you're just spraying it black, anyone can do that. But this is what I really have fun with, is doing the custom side of things too.
Yeah,
all of that work as well.
That's a beautiful work.
So this is my favorite tool in the shop. This is our CNC plasma cutter. It's essentially a robot that cuts parts for me. So we design everything right here on the laptop. We throw our material on, and as you can see here in the sign, I mean, you're able to get really nice detail, nice lettering. We use this thing for all kinds of parts, whether it's brackets for suspension, decorative plates, signs, strengthening gussets. I mean, the list is really endless as to what we can use this thing for. Right here we have a couple of really special tools. I mean, obviously the welding machine is the heartbeat of the shop. This is one of our most used tools. This is a really special piece to us. It's a really cool tool for quickly shaping metal and putting shrinks into, like if you're trying to make a radiused fender or something like that, this is the tool that knocks that out for you. It makes a hell of a racket, and it's basically just a big swing arm that slams this arm up and down really fast and allows you to shape metal really quickly. So that's an awesome piece to have in the shop. And then we've got the plenishing hammer and the English wheel to kind of smooth it out after it's been roughed up in here.
Yeah, so this is a Bailey bead roller that I ordered out of the States, and it's a really nice bead roller because a lot of bead rollers just give a really tight area in there, so you can only run flat panels through them. But with this one, with that big throw, it allows you to run something that's got a curve on it. So I've utilized this for doing door skins where you need like a curved panel that goes in there, big roof panels because it's also got that big throw on it. And obviously, as you can see, we have lots of tooling to do different profiles and different sorts of things with it.
I love this 29 Ford, man. From the louvers and to the old school parts. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, this is a 29 Model A that I built 7 years ago now. It just started as a car that was kind of mid-restoration when I got it. So the body had been roughly painted this John Deere green color, and it was all taken apart. But I just really wanted a traditional hot rod, so I started with the chassis, I goosenecked the chassis, kicked it up in the front, did a notch in the back just to get that really nice stance that it has now. And all the parts on it are really traditional, pre-1950 stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's a 35 Ford flathead, which is pretty rare to hot rod up. It's an early motor, so what that means, this was the last year of poured bearings. So they never had insert bearings in the motor. It was a poured Babbitt bearing that was done. So even though it looks like all the other flatheads, the early motors are really a thing on their own. The water pumps are up in the cylinder heads. It was more so just finding all the parts to put the motor together. It started with a set of cylinder heads. I found those heads, and as you can see, they're unbranded. They were cast up by a group of hot rodders in New York in the 50s, and there's only a couple hundred sets of these cylinder heads that were originally made. It's got a big 400 lift cam in it, which is the largest cam you can get for a flathead. And just put a lot of the other pieces together to make the motor. And yeah, everything's super traditional. Like I said, the body's a 1929. It's got a 32 grill shell on it, 35 wire wheels, 34 Ford headlights, 35 Ford dash. So just a combination of lots of early parts that went into it.
I love this finish. What did you do for the finish here?
Yeah, so I kind of just patinaed it myself, airbrushed a lot of the rust in, and started by putting a black coat down, and then started with some red oxide primer that I kind of put on top of that. And I wanted to do away with the John Deere green and kind of bring it a little more old school, which is kind of the reversal of what people do. It was shiny when I got it, and I kind of dulled it back and took it to this finish, but I feel that it really suits the flavor of the car, something that could have been built in the 1950s from from the old school hot rodders.
So Preston, the first thing I see here is this awesome looking engine sticking out.
Yeah, we've got some neat tricks up this old girl's sleeve. Access to the engine is a real pain on this thing. I mean, to try and lift up the hood and get up there to work on it, it's a challenge to say the very least. So we've decided to make the whole front end tilt forward to make it a little bit more easy to access. And we wanted to keep it looking stock with all the factory gaps, so all the panels all bolt together. We wanted to keep the gap along the blower as nice and tight as we could. We didn't want to cut a big giant hole to be able to open the hood. So by keeping it nice and tight, we were able to run that beautiful bead roll to finish off the opening. And it really just gives it that extra little bit. It cleans it up a little bit, and it's something that nobody expects when you hit the switch and the whole front end of the truck starts to move forward and tilt up.
Awesome. Can you show us?
Of course, yeah, I'd love to.
There's got to be some serious reinforcing under here.
Definitely. I mean, as I mentioned, we've got reinforcement plates between the hood and the fender. We've got reinforcement plates between the fender and the rad support. The rad support itself has been fully beefed up. The hood itself actually has multiple DOM rings, like big heavy steel tube loops to really keep it solid as well, especially when you cut the whole center support out of it. It's basically reinforced with 1/4-inch steel tubing all the way around.
How's Ed going to get in?
Well, funny enough, the client is quite tall as well, but even then we noticed that it's a challenge to get in and out of. So what we did was we actually ordered up a set of brand new side steps for a 2018 GMC Sierra, and the first thing we did when we got them here is cut them in half and put them on the truck. So it's actually got full power side steps that'll come down when you open the door, just to make access a little bit easier. We really wanted to make the truck a little more modern that way, bring like his daily driver is a brand new Denali truck. He's used to those creature comforts, and we wanted to really tie those into this truck as well. So from the front end, even in the back end, the tailgate, we did a custom soft open tailgate that comes down. It doesn't slam, it just drops gently. And we've actually got a couple more tricks back there that I'll show you in a minute.
What's the horsepower on that baby?
It's hit the dyno at 1,000 horse on some hopped up fuel. For streetability, they've dialed it back. So I would say we're looking realistically now at about 8.5.
So Tobin, this is your 37 Ford pickup.
Yeah, I started this for a customer on the coast about 3 years ago now, and the truck originally came out of California. It was what we thought was a pretty solid truck to begin with, but that turned into full floors. I had to make the whole back of the cab again and a bunch of other stuff. But we wanted to make just a really traditional custom pickup truck, something that could have been done in the 50s. Again, all old school parts on it, and every panel on this truck has been changed or customized in some way. I've got over 1,000 hours of metal work just on the tin itself. The chassis all custom. I just started with a set of rails and made everything else off of that. So yeah, lots of subtle things. The flavor of the truck was wanted something that could have looked stock, but you know, we're just kind of changing some of the design flaws out of the factory on it. Mild custom kind of thing.
You got a Corvette engine in here?
Yeah. So that's a 327 out of a 64 Vet. We've got some old school Rams horns, headers, tri-power on there, and again, just keeping with that same flavor of all traditional vintage parts, which kind of ties everything else in. It's so yeah, these headlights, that's kind of a combination of a few different things. It's a 35 Ford car bucket with the front ring off the 37 truck, so we could retain the 37 lens.
Yeah.
And then I cut this top piece out and made this cool little panel with these bead rolls to kind of give it a bit of an Art Deco vibe.
Tobin, one of the first things you notice when you walk up to this truck looking in the back is the 3-link suspension that you've built yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely something different. I just wanted the truck to have some unique features that you haven't seen before, so I designed this rear suspension with this wishbone that'll articulate inside the bed as you drive. So the bed floor will be a wood bed floor, but it'll have cutouts for these risers to come through. And as you drive, it'll all move, and you'll be able to see that as a focal point in the back of the bed. So you'll see as I air it out here, you can watch this move, and it'll give you an idea of what it's going to do when you're driving it.
So Preston, what do we call this?
Well, the go-to name for these is slab sides. They call them slabs because there's no body lines to them. They're just a big slab of steel. I mean, you can't go wrong with the styling of the old Lincoln. It was probably one of the most iconic cars Detroit ever built. Not only is it 35 feet long, but when they're down low, they've just got such an aggressive look to them, all squared off, nice straight body lines along the top, lots of chrome, lots of flash, which we've obviously accented with the wheels here. Really just a stunner of a car.
This is yours, right?
Yeah, this is a personal car. It was something I actually bought off of Mike Hall when I was looking for a project. I bought it as something that I could fix up and sell, but we all know how that goes, and now I'm head over heels in love with her, and she's probably going to end up staying.
Tobin, I love this. Bike in your living room. Well, obviously this is a trophy for you. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, it's a super cool bike that I built. The motor is an old Harley Iron Head. Other than the motor, I basically built everything else for it. So I built the frame for the bike from scratch. I built the tank and the fender, did everything else on it. And a couple cool features of this bike is that it doesn't have an oil bucket, but the oil circulates through the frame of the bike and then into the motor. So these tubes are the return lines for the oil. It comes, goes into the down tube, down underneath, and then cycles into the motor. And runs super cool. You know, it's functional art. It looks good, but I've put some miles on this bike as well, and it rides awesome.
Well, it's beautiful. I love the use of metals here. You've got the chrome, the copper, you've got the brass. It just really works nicely together.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I finished building it, and I was invited to debut it down at the One Moto show in Portland, which is an invite-only show. So I was pretty pleased that you know, they saw the bike and took an interest to it. And I also have it at the BC Classic and Custom Car Show, where it took first place under the motorcycle category.
So do you guys have like a website or a Facebook page where the cruisers can find you?
Yeah, we don't have a website currently. We rely on social media like a lot of people do. We've just changed our name. We were formerly Lakeview Fab. Bringing Tobin on though, we've decided to change that. So we are now Lakeview Rod Custom. You can find us on YouTube under that name, Lakeview Rod Custom. Facebook as well, Lakeview Rod Custom with an ampersand. And we're on Instagram as Lakeview_Rod_Custom. Cool. So you can see all of our work there.
Preston and Tobin, thank you so much for having Ed and I here today, sharing your shops and everything you do. We're looking forward to seeing your rides at the show this year.
Excellent, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So until next time, you're on the road with CTO.